Welcome to Jurassic Park. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and today's special episode, we are revisiting our weekly, well, now it's like bi-weekly due to other stuff that's come through, but we're revisiting some of our favorites and recommendations that the rest of the Popcorn Watchlist panelists have been recommending for the last couple months or so. And today is a special episode because just like we did with our previous Schindler's List episode, we're going back to the Hallmark year of 1993, and we're revisiting another Steven Spielberg film that was groundbreaking and revolutionized the blockbuster once again in a little-known movie that some would say was 65 years in the making, right, guys?
65 million years in the making?
65 million years in the making. That was the tagline for the one and the only Jurassic Park. So joined with me once again are my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists. I have Danny.
What's up?
You've got Zach.
Howdy.
And the person who recommended this week's episode, believe it was Anthony?
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts. That's a good old Sam Jackson. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun quoting, but a lot of celebrating just what we love about Jurassic Park. Be a lot of fun trivia that you might have known about, might not have known about, but also, just some of our, small little favorites and favorite things about the movie, some inside jokes that we'll regale you with. And, maybe some stories, especially between, Anthony and I, who saw this movie in theaters when it first came out. But hey, Danny, let's get a little bit of the rundown, the basic facts of the movie. Obviously, who directed it, obviously Steven Spielberg, but, go down some of the basic facts for anybody who's lived under a rock or maybe, come to planet Earth and has never known the glory that is Jurassic Park.
Or maybe those that have seen Jurassic World before watching Jurassic Park.
It's a thing.
It could be a thing. But yeah, like you mentioned, it came out in 1993 by Spielberg. And just to start off with the cast, we got Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum.
Now Academy Award winner Laura Dern, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Yeah, I think she won for that movie with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. But anyway, yeah.
Marriage Story?
Marriage Story, yes. I believe she won for Marriage Story.
Richard Attenborough and Samuel L. Jackson, among a couple others.
Among other people.
Wayne Knight
from Seinfeld fame.
Or Space Jam.
Yes, also Space Jam.
If people don't watch Seinfeld.
Martin Ferrero as Gennaro. B.D. Wong as Dr. Wu. Come on, man. Bob Peck was Muldoon. Ariana Richards was Lex. Joseph Mazzello was Tim.
Sam Jackson.
Yeah, he said Sam Jackson.
John.
John. And
Mr.
Richard Kiley, who is the
DNA.
voice of who's the tour voice, because we spared no expense.
Of Mr. DNA. Who's Mr. DNA?
Mr. DNA, Greg Burson.
Oh.
I cheated with that one with IMDb, but Richard Kiley, I remember because obviously John Hammond spared no expense. Like he was just himself, which is pretty great. But yeah, keep on going. It's Spielberg so who did the score?
It's based off a book, right?
Yeah.
Possibly off of a book.
Not possibly. Oh, we're sarcasming now. Okay, thank you. Continue, Danny, with the sarcasm.
Yeah, and then so for the score, we got the legendary,
The GOAT.
legendary Mr. Williams.
Mr. Williams? Mr. John Williams. That's right.
Yeah, that score is iconic.
Like, once you thought, I was like, okay, man, did Superman, Star Wars, Jaws. E.T., and
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, and then you start, and then it's like, man, like it's just like he's had so many iconic scores. Then you watch Jurassic Park, you're like, this is great.
Harry
Like,
keeps
Harry
going.
Potter.
well, because it was Harry Potter was after, but
Oh,
like
okay.
like what
Schindler's
leading
List.
up to-
The same
every-
year.
which
Schindler's List.
also after technically, but
Yeah.
like it's just like
Yeah.
that was the point where it's like, what
I
this
mean,
guy.
2 films in 1 year.
But and it got to a point where like you know he's known for like, oh, there's great themes, I love the movie, and then you listen to this with like, this is a new classic. Like there's
E.T. Did we mention E.T.? Anyone mention E.T.?
I said E.T.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did say E.T. Okay.
That it's just this score alone is amazing.
When did Close Encounters come out? Before, I think,
1977, 82 maybe.
So before Jurassic Park.
77. I lied. Yeah, 77.
Same year as Jaws?
I
No,
believe
that's
no.
same year as Star Wars.
Star Wars was this is 77. Yeah. Jaws was 75, I think. Yeah, Jaws was 75. Look at that. And yeah, so the movie, I guess was all right because on a budget of what, like 63 million, adjusted for inflation, how much did it make?
It made $1 billion.
$1 billion dollars.
Nice.
$1,045 million.
That's with inflation, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's wild.
that is out of hand. Like
On a $63 million budget, that's
which back then was pretty high.
Yeah.
I would think it's pretty high considering stuff. But as we'll get into, like, there's many reasons that they did from the production standpoint that made it turn into basically roll up and cement this movie as one of the classics in cinema.
I'm sure also like DVD and like VHS sales. and,
Every
like,
5 years they come out with
a re-release.
30th, 25th anniversary
yeah.
of the first movies.
Well,
People-
this year is 30th. So
Yeah.
did they re-release it or?
They did.
They did
They
5
did.
years ago, I think so.
Plus all the merch. Like it's definitely.
And they also have been re-releasing in theaters every couple of years. So.
Yeah.
Actually, hopefully if you're listening to this podcast this weekend when it comes out, if you're lucky enough, you can go see John Williams in concert of all Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in California, in Los Angeles. So do it if you have the money. But
Or the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still, at this point in time, there's tickets. Like, I was debating on trying to, like, do a red-eye flight to try to go there for a day and come back. Like,
$1,000.
I'm very, well, who knows? I haven't checked it out, but, maybe not.
No, I think it's like a $400 flight.
Yeah, it's
Something
just,
like
or if you're willing to, like, stay up for 24 hours straight. But yeah, like, everything from just, I guess, Spielberg making a dinosaur movie is kind of like, this movie has just changed the entire game when it came to, like, dinosaur movies. Because in the past, everything was always stop motion. Like, it was the old, like, claymation, like, hey, we're doing this thing here, and the dinosaurs are walking around. You had dinosaurs fighting, but they would, in that cheesy, like, Stegosaurus versus T-Rex kind of stop motion style. But it's like everything kind of culminated together into making this movie just being just amazing. Like, I remember in the theater just being completely in awe of just what I was watching at that certain time. Like, I think, like, even like just how the characters play out when they're actually at the park and looking at the dinosaurs for the first time. That's how you can tell the entire audience was. Like, they're looking at this like, man, that does look really nice. And of course, you have the music playing the main Jurassic Park theme. You have Richard Attenborough's just welcome to Jurassic Park. Like, just it's just magnificent splendor. It's great. As a kid, like, it made me think, like, for a moment in time, I was like, man, like, it was like, maybe I want to grow up and be a paleontologist because that looks so cool. But yeah, that's my 6-year-old self.
I mean, yeah, the
Too much fun.
VFX were great for this movie for being 30 years old, which is a lot better than a lot of the VFX that we get in certain movies.
Movie we just saw.
Recently.
Spielberg literally said that, like, he wants the wizards at ILM to come in and work on the movie to make the magic happen, and magic definitely happened.
Yeah.
You also had George Lucas come in and help in post-production.
Really? What did he do exactly?
ILM stuff, probably not.
I mean, it's his company.
I mean, it was his company. It is his
Exactly,
company.
yeah.
get people to do things.
And
But
so-
But I'm sure
helped-
he had like some other credits.
He spent most of his time working on sound and visual effects.
Okay, so ILM stuff probably.
okay, yeah.
because of
And he received a special credit at the end of the film.
One of those special thanks to all these people. I wonder who else would be in those special credits, or I mean the special thanks credits.
No, but
we have to talk about the master of the puppetry, the animatronics,
Stan Winston.
Stan Winston Studios.
Oh yeah.
They've created a lot of very popular creatures in movies, like the Predator, the
Nice.
Alien from
Alien.
Aliens, and all the dinosaurs here. I think they had 6 main dinosaurs in this movie, and they made them like in their studio, like huge versions of them, which is why, like you said, this movie looks so good because it's not 100% CGI. It's CGI when it's like a long shot and you see the whole entire dinosaur,
Yeah.
and usually when it's like moving around.
And action,
But then
action
a
shots
lot of the
too.
times they have close-ups of like maybe just a dinosaur's face or like
Yeah.
half of it. All of those shots, it's real, and that's why it looks amazing because it's handcrafted, hand painted, and it's there. The actors see it, they react to it, and it's this huge monstrosity like on set.
Wasn't it also like through all the how it was operated through some like initial hydraulics and stuff?
Yeah, they have like
Yeah.
multiple people working like controlling these things.
And,
in
and
the
they
background.
had to have like a warning every time it turned on because like it was a massive hunk of stuff moving around. There's a great episode of I've mentioned the series before on the podcast, but there's a great episode about this movie on the movies that made us. They talk about how like on the raining scenes, what would happen to the T-Rex itself and its skin when it got wet. Like
It would
just
puff up.
It would just puff up and get really
It
like
got even heavier.
yeah, it heavier. It looked like it was like had a weird allergic reaction, and the skin just looked just was terrible to film. So like they just having to do these things, they had to do it really fast and get it dried up again, and so there were limitations to practical effects. So that's why then you get this breakthrough in CG animation, and that happened from like the big pioneer of that in ILM was Steve Williams. So that's a guy basically goes down in history as like changing the entire game of like being able to make this animation look and feel more realistic, to the point where like during a screening, like during the T-Rex chase scene, they did a screening for like the executives and Spielberg, and he's looking through it. And he's just like, "This is the future. Like this is it. Like just holy cow! Like just super giddy and excited." So it's a great blend of that, like the CG, but also practical effects, like the Dilophosaurus was a practical effect.
Yep.
Yeah.
That still freaks me out to this day. Like that scene always scares me. But
they
like
made that huge Triceratops, the one that was sick.
yeah, that was the first thing they made.
Yeah.
And I think they had people under it in the background, like
Yeah.
helping with the breathing in and breathing out. Like that was, I think, even for the actors, they're just like, whoa, like this is really good.
Yeah.
What was also not real though was the giant pile of poop that Jeff Goldblum was looking at.
You sure? Looked real.
Just one big pile of shit.
And then another fun fact about this movie, they were actually filming in the island of Hawaii during a hurricane.
Yep. During a hurricane.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I love
Or
that.
I guess a typhoon. Technically.
Or, well, largest hurricane to ever hit Hawaii.
Technically a hurricane
Wow.
because this side of the hemisphere. So
Well, this side is hurricane. The other side is typhoon, I think. And the Pacific is typhoon. I don't know.
But
I think-
they got up to 145 mile per hour winds.
Nice.
100 what? 145?
45.
Holy shit! I mean, that's like
And apparently
Category 5,
some
probably.
scenes of the movie they were able to use from like that hurricane storm. Just some clips though.
yeah,
Because
like
there's a hurricane in the movie.
storms. Yeah,
Yeah, no, yeah,
It
of course.
factors
But I'm
into
saying
the movie. Yeah, where then all the systems go down and then all hell breaks loose. But yeah, like the main themes of the movie come down to it's just like Michael Crichton had written into it. That he's a big like science fiction guy. Not his first rodeo with a theme park that goes awry. Thank you, Westworld. But this is basically just the hubris of man, and basically comes down to science and how much science can man control before we realize we're not really in control, and what lessons we have to learn from that, and at the same time, like a harrowing journey of somebody realizing that, maybe they can hang around and not be such a curmudgeon, Mr. Alan Grant, to be so blunt about it. But the movie, kind of, just it is also just a feast for your eyes if you just want like great, like suspense, action, definitely a bit of scary stuff going on. Like I remember even just the opening scene. I don't know, like if you guys going back and rewatching that scene, like I remember watching that scene in the theater and actually being like scared. It was like, oh,
I completely forgot that was a part of the movie.
that's totally the beginning of the movie. Yeah,
Shooter.
yeah. The guy like going on, like getting like just pulled up by a raptor inside the cage, and the fact that the raptor like knew there was an opening, like, oh, I'm gonna get him now. Like that was Muldoon having to like. I never understood if it was like, did they actually like shoot to kill, or they just kept tranking it? Because then it used to be 3 raptors, now it's 2. So I'm pretty sure they had to put that they had to euthanize the raptor.
Wait, but
No, there was
three
at the end?
One where with Laura Dern's character at the power.
Yeah, that was the one that also killed Muldoon.
There were
I think.
3.
No,
There were 3 at the end. No, I thought there were 2.
I thought there was only 2.
There was 2.
Okay, there were 2 at the end, but because those 2 were from the kitchen, that whole kitchen scene.
Yeah, like
But then the third one was
out there, but
in
then
that,
I thought that was one of the 2 that then they
Okay,
abandoned
yeah.
back together. Yeah,
maybe.
that's
Yeah,
what I thought.
already-
I'm pretty sure it's
there was
2.
only 2 throughout the whole,
No.
You're probably
but I may be wrong.
So for sure there was
Well,
3
the whole,
because
like,
when
clever girl
Muldoon
scene
when Muldoon
was
goes
2.
to kill, I guess, the main one, the mom or whatever. And
the
then
other
he
one
gets
showed up.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah, he
ambushed
gets
to the
ambushed by
side.
the
So
other
that's
one.
2 right there in the
which is
forest.
funny because
and then the
he
third one
mentioned like not like
Yeah.
20 minutes before.
It's like-
Yeah, he's
like
like,
they're,
oh,
it's like they're already, they're plotting already. And then the third one was in the
But that's why he says, "Oh, clever girl."
yeah, because
Or
Oh no,
That's
sorry.
smart.
It was Grant that says at the beginning of the movie. I thought it was the same character that he got. He says clever girl.
No, that was Muldoon for sure.
Yeah.
That is the whole like the
classic.
the ultimate classic of the classic mind game getting got by the Velociraptor. So that was pretty badass. Like
It came not full circle, but it was a callback to that opening scene. If you're not paying attention to the movie, where Grant says that you have like one raptor that's kind of out in the open. You guys are making you
making
look
eye
at her,
contact. Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks at you, but then
2 come to the
2
side.
come from the side and ambush you in the old.
yeah.
And then of course that happens. Instead of 2, it was just the 1, and it just kind of pops out from the bush, and then that's when you get the clever girl, the famous clever girl line.
And then the third one was the one that's in
And you have the big one
the inside, the one that ends up killing off screen Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was basically like the matriarch of it because he was the thing. Like, okay, so I guess it was 3.
Going back to the animatronics like failing in
Yeah,
the
she
rain.
killed all but 2 of them. Oh yeah. She killed the other ones too. Yep.
The episode of what was
Testing
it?
the fences.
Was it the Netflix show, right?
Yeah.
Movies That Made Us. The
Yeah.
episode, like they showed a little bit of it, but I remember back in the day. This is how old I am. Before DVD features, there was this show called Movie Magic. I think it was on Discovery Channel. I don't remember, but it was an old TV show where it was essentially like how movies were made, like Movie Extras, the TV show. And I saw the one with Jurassic Park, and they would show that part with the T-Rex, and that they would say, yeah, when it was out in the rain, the animatronic would just like, because it was getting so heavy and like wet, the animatronics
lock up.
were messing up. It would lock up, but then start shaking. So it'd be like like that, and it would like so they would show multiple angles of it, and you just see like the head of the T-Rex going like back and forth, and then they were like, yeah, so we had to dry it very quickly, and then you would just see a bunch of guys with towels like slapping the crap out of the T-Rex, like the T-Rex's head. And I always thought that was so funny, and then seeing it now in like other
Because
specials.
they only
it's like,
really
I remember
used they only really used the actual animatronic T-Rex for the scene where the granddaughter is like flashing the flashlight, into its eye, and then also when it breaks through the roof of the car.
Yeah, like
And
the
everything
head's
else
going,
pretty
going
much-
through that glass. Which, by the way, whoever made that top glass, good for you, because if that thing had shattered, they would have been hella dead.
Yeah.
No, but the also like when they first show it and it shows that like it's eating.
Oh yeah,
That's
Yeah.
animatronic.
Because you see only the neck.
Yeah,
and the
like
head.
anytime
It's
you
eating
don't
the goat.
see the full blown body, it's the animatronic.
yeah.
Metasaurus, Lex. Metasaurus.
So like every time they show the raptors, and you kind of like see most of their body but not their legs, that's animatronic.
Yeah.
And then obviously when they jump, then they have to do the CGI with the legs to make them jump really high.
When they're running full body, like in the kitchen the area, that's also CG. When they jumped up to try to get I think Lex's
CG.
leg, that Alan had to pull her in. That's also CG.
But it's because they have
so good.
the real life model that the Stan Winston company already made. All the animators are just going straight off of that and like put it onto the computer and like just try to copy exactly how it looks, which is why it blends so well and you don't even realize that. Like
even with
you're
like the
looking at CG.
Gallimimuses too. Like there's so many things like this movie from the way it was made is really good, but then it's like also iconic just because of all it's insanely quotable. All the characters are definitely memorable. It's shot really well. The music is top tier, and
Dotson.
we got Dotson here, dude. Okay,
Dude, we have to say
okay, so one of our favorite moments in this movie between Anthony and I is that Wayne Knight's character Dennis Nedry, he is actually trying to smuggle dinosaur embryos that have been recombined to DNA whatever out of the park and sell them to like a rival company.
Yeah.
And so there's this guy named Dotson he's meeting him in Costa Rica, like this like cool little like small what is it, like it's just like some weird like beach club or something, right? And like
Some restaurant,
and he's basically teaching him like, hey, here's how you're gonna get all of the embryos out, and he wants to get his money, but then he shows him like the Barbasol can, and he's teaching him how to do everything. So there's a part where like because Nedry's laughing because of the ridiculousness of it all, and he gets to the point where like the Barbasol can pops open, and Nedry like makes a squeal or like a really high pitched noise. Over the years, we've met people who think that like can popping out like makes a crazy sound, but Anthony and I have always stipulated that is Wayne Knight's squealing going extremely high up.
Yeah, it's not a sound. Like so when the guy opens it up, it's just Nedry like laughing like crazy and he squeals. But our friend Bobby, specifically swears that it's just a noise coming from the thing. We're like, no man, this guy's laughing and a squeal comes out, and he doesn't think it's real. But we have found video proof that some guy looked at that scene and like said, yes, this is this guy making a squeal noise.
I gotta look that up.
Like there are
It's
videos
hilarious.
of
Yeah,
analysis
you gotta
that's
look it
just
up.
like inhuman squeal. Like it's just insane. Like it's just so high up and out of hand. Like Bobby, if you're listening to this, please understand for once and all time, you are wrong. It's actually a squeal. It's not the Barbasol can that's popping out. Like it is legitimately a scream. Like you guys, having you two, Danny and Zach, here now on the podcast. What do you guys think? I need to derail this because I need your opinions
Honestly,
on this.
I remember the squeal. I just wasn't paying attention to both.
Yeah, I would have to. I would have to.
I'd have to
listen
rewatch it.
All right, that's your homework today. Is like you're gonna go back and rewatch just that scene, and then you're gonna confirm that it is indeed.
We're quizzing you tomorrow.
Yeah, this is gonna be a pop quiz, and there is only one right answer. No, but that scene's always hilarious to me, and like, but it's also like it's a cool. It's obviously there's like a perfect storm of everything that can go wrong in the park, like kind of does, and this is like a tour. The whole thing is at oh my goodness, the theme park is about to open, like to do it's basically trying to do like a soft launch, but they're gonna bring in experts, subject matter experts to go ahead and try to test the park out for its authenticity. And John Hammond, brings in Ellie Sattler and Alan Grant. He brings in like a naysayer in what they call a chaotician, in Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm. Yeah, and his lawyer Martin, like it's a Gennaro, like he's coming in to kind of like see all the legalities of things and see how that's going on. I mean, they're already in sort of legal trouble because they had an employee get killed by a velociraptor, but it's like every character is like really fun, unique, and they get to show off like their expertise. Like Alan Grant gets to do this whole thing, but then he gets saddled with with Hammond's grandkids, who are basically like totally against his book and like his theory of what happened to dinosaurs.
He's like, this other guy is so much bigger book than yours.
Yeah, so he has way more. See, his book it's like this thick. It's double the size of your book. And he's just like, dude, what the hell? Like, and then it like he kind of like leaves Tim in the corner and then goes back in. Lex is there, and it's like she's like, oh, she said I should ride with you because it'd be good for you. And he's just like, what? And looks over, and Ellie's like, get wrecked by kids. Like, and it shows really fun like. A fun dynamic. There's a human element to it. Like, yeah, like there are times where Anthony and I have said this opinion where like when the movie's about a certain thing, make it more about the certain thing. But this movie benefits from having the human characters having to interact with what's going on with the dinosaurs. Like, yeah, you want to see every time you do see dinosaurs, it's always magnificent. It's always impactful. But the
it's not like every scene either.
Exactly,
and it's part of the movie because at the beginning when they first go on the mock tour, none of the dinosaurs are out and about, and so they even make fun of that. I think Jeff Goldblum's character, he's like,
yeah, Dr. Malcolm's
he's like there's actually going to be dinosaurs.
You have a
dinosaur tour.
Have
right?
dinosaurs on this dinosaur tour sometime. Hello, and then like he's like trying to like fog up and unfog the camera, and then like John Hammond's looking at him. He's like, I really hate that man. Which then the irony is that they both get kind of paired together, like later on when they're trying to bring stuff back. It's brilliant. Like there's little things and small connections like that. Iconic scenes like the Jello scene when Lex knows the raptors are there. The Alan Grant getting zapped by Tim getting zapped by the electric fence and Alan making a joke out of it. I was like, even then I was a kid, I was like, that's not funny. That's terrible. He's just like
10,000 volts.
Yeah, but like Grant was kind of like, hey, I'm gonna have some fun. And I was like, no, don't do it. These kids have gone through so much already.
And then the kid
dude, he gets
flew off.
He legit gets shocked. It gets thrown back like 10 feet.
Oh yeah, dude! Like it's so far out. I mean, like he gets
after
caught.
The whole car sequence.
That's after the whole. Yeah, he's stuck in the SUV that goes down the T-Rex area and then gets stuck in a tree, and then he has to run out of said tree
and gets like crushed by the car. Technically,
yeah.
It lands perfectly
under him.
Yeah.
Zach, what are some of your favorite scenes about this movie or in this movie?
I liked the whole scene with Wayne Knight's character where he's trying to do his whole mission of taking the embryos.
Boom, boom, boom. Even the music there is great. It's all like
and more specifically the part where he's in the Jeep and he's in the rain and stuff, and there's a part where he slides off and he hits the sign and he doesn't know which way it's supposed to go. He just kind of spins it.
He just spins like
like a roulette kind of thing.
If only homie had a compass.
and then the whole part where he has to get himself out of the mud, and then the whole Dilophosaurus part.
Dude, I still think even if he didn't break the sign, there's no way he was making the boat. Like, that boat was already gone.
I mean, he did find another road that led.
Yeah, but that boat was. He wouldn't have made it.
No, he would not have made that boat. That junk was gone.
If that boat survived, they might have capsized just from the hurricane.
Well, that was most of the staff, like Dr. Wu and everybody else. So since Dr. Wu's in the other movies later on, they
made it.
Survived,
yeah, it made it.
Because there's that. I like that whole part.
I'm sure they thought that through when they made the other movies.
Yeah, they're like, we gotta do this and put it connected. Yeah, that's a smart move there.
And I also really like the kitchen scene with the raptors.
Mm-hmm. Lex with the spoon, ding, 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 and then mind gaming with the reflection. I always thought that was legit. And then trapping a raptor in the
Well, it was a legit like reflection. They
Yeah.
had to angle it.
Yeah, angled it up.
to
But
look good.
then they trapped the raptor in the freezer. That raptor stayed there and died, right? That's why there's only 2 at the very end.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
There
right.
were 3, and then there were 2.
Yeah. One got stuck in the.
Okay, so
Yeah, it got stuck in the
one
freezer, so
did
it's
get in the
hella
freezer.
dead.
Okay.
Unless he opened the door and made it out, but
That's not like a standard knob.
no, I know.
No, that raptor got preserved in cryostasis and comes back. No, man. We talked about Ian Malcolm saying talking about the poop. What about the T-Rex chase scene? That
Okay,
scene
wait.
was freaky.
I love that
Must go
scene
faster?
only because
Must go
Toy
faster.
Story 2 mocked it.
Must go faster.
with Rex and
Must go faster.
the Barbies with the RC car and everything.
I just think now looking back, I just think that everything that Ian Malcolm says is just insanely quotable.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
everything
he has
says.
like
He has
4 of the best quotes in this movie.
Yeah. What, life finds a way?
Life finds a way.
There's one big pile of shit.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah, he's the voice of reason in all this.
Facts.
Yeah.
Every time you say one, you just say
hit them.
facts.
But you know,
And
you,
then,
know, you use science in the way that a kid brandishes his dad's gun. Like it's so good.
If the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
That's such a good line.
I love that
Facts.
line.
I was like, this guy's
Oh,
genius.
okay, yeah, that's
Duh.
yeah.
The selling.
Yeah. Now, boom, you're selling it. Boom, you're selling it. Boom, you're selling it. The gate. They're like, we need to have this gate, and he's like, what do they got in there? King Kong. Yeah.
I remember that too. That was a good
Oh
one.
man, that was so good. I'm always on the lookout for a future Mrs. X Malcolm. Future Mrs. Malcolm. I quote this line on almost all the time, especially at work. I always tell people like, "Boy, do I hate being right all the time." Like that was perfect. You know, all his lines, and then
And the laugh, of course, the classic laugh
the classic laugh.
from the helicopter scene.
That's his introduction.
You guys
scene.
just need to watch the helicopter scene and listen to his laugh. It is outrageous.
There's a 10-hour cut.
There's a 10-hour cut. We kid you not. Also, when Gennaro ran away for the kids, he's going to the bathroom. He's like, "Well, you gotta go. You gotta go." Like,
So many.
there's so
the first
many.
time they see the dinosaur, he's like, he did it. The crazy son of a bitch did it.
Yep,
Yeah.
you did it. You crazy son of a bitch. Yeah, you didn't require any discipline to attain it. Yeah, with the scientific power using it. You know, it's so good. Like, man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs. I'm going through some of the list here.
It's
Like,
the dinosaur eats man.
yeah. And then dinosaur eats man, and woman inherits the earth.
He even uses the "much go faster" line in Independence Day. So
It's just the Jeff Goldblum thing here,
Yeah.
man. That's chaos theory, guys. They just use this stuff in all these other different movies. Alan Grant is like the stoic, like reluctant hero. I thought was really cool. Ellie Sadler, like gets to step up, but also show off her like paleobotany skills. Of just like, hey, like, what's hurting the Triceratops is that it's eating like plants from a different time period that they wouldn't have eaten out of, which is why like it's grazing on this and then hurting itself. So
sick.
another part I thought was really cool because it sells the whole thing that like Jurassic Park is this massive like theme park. Is when they go in and sit in that weird ride that's all about like the science, and we meet the greatest
tours.
We meet the greatest Mr. DNA. And
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John. It's one of my I don't know why it's one of my favorite stupid little gags and scenes in the movie. It's great that when you go to like Universal and like they have Mr. DNA and like in the original River Park ride, like it's the same voice and it's fun to have that little continuity. And that's when they go off and then they see the baby raptors, and that's when like Grant's like, wait, you guys have raptors here? And like he starts freaking out and he's like like it's almost like you want to meet your heroes kind of thing, because in the first scene it basically one shows off that like he hates kids, and two it's like he's the specialist on velociraptors because they're digging a dig site with raptor bones.
Raptor actually means bird of prey.
Yeah, and that kid got wrecked. He's like, more like a giant chicken. He's like, oh really? Okay. And then the chicken's gonna cut you.
The 6 foot turkey.
Yeah, 6 foot turkey. There you go. Dude, that's good. Danny, so what are some of your favorites?
I think the one that I used to like the most, or I think I've actually seen the most, was the kitchen sequence. I don't know. I think it was so iconic with the Velociraptor and just some of those like kind of like horror-esque. You know, you're trying to like hide from that
monster thriller
haunting
kind of
you.
things.
And then I also like the kind of like the introduction where he says like "Welcome to Jurassic Park," where you first see like all the dinosaurs, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, so
They're turning. Like he's like, you know, Alan's looking, and he just turns Ellie's head.
Turns head.
Just turn over here, and it's just they're flocking. They're moving in herds. Like
They do move in herds.
They do move in herds. Like this Alan. It's genuine. Like that whole like amazement of what they've created is just it's totally there. It's only till later on you realize like, like this can get out of hand.
like there's
really
the good
fast.
side of it, and then there's
The
obviously
bad side, you know.
the bad side
You
of it.
package it, you put it in a lunchbox, and
beauty of
boom,
it,
you're selling
and
it. Boom, you're
The
selling it.
nightmare side of it, yeah.
Yeah. Just it's and then like the whole idea is because I have to think. I keep thinking up so many favorite things. One of my favorite scenes is you didn't say the magic word.
Yeah,
And we
I hate the sack of crap.
I hate the sack of crap. Please.
Samuel Jackson just
Sam Jackson is great. Like any scene he's in, dude, he steals it, man. And he's just like, shut off main access code. And he's just like trying to like go through all the lines of code of the rag, and he looks over, he's like, hold on to your butts. That's another iconic
With the
line.
cigarette in his mouth.
With a cigarette in his mouth.
And then he said it again too. I think when he was trying to, how was it? He was trying to was some of the power. Maybe.
Yeah, he was shutting off all the power so he can restart
Yeah,
his
his
Start
computer.
everything.
can reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never saw him die, did we?
Yeah, no,
Well,
off screen.
He died
Yeah.
off screen.
No,
Saw
no,
his
yes.
arm.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
point because
just
then
the arm.
Ellie had to go to the power station. She ran away from the raptor because Muldoon was like, we're being hunted. I'm gonna draw him away. You need to run there right now." And then that scene, like you see nothing, but
Yeah.
the terror,
You
like,
don't see or hear anything.
but the sheer terror that's framed in that scene is like masterclass from Spielberg. That's too good. Like how that's all put together. Like it's just, and then like the riveting strings from John Williams' score, and Ellie's running, jumping, going through stuff, and then she like cuts in, and she's just like freaking out because like, I could have died at any moment. Like it took me a long time to realize like, man, that's legitimately scary.
Because it's like all set up throughout the movie of how crazy those types of dinosaurs are. And so when even Muldoon, who's supposedly the raptor specialist, when he's like, "We're already being hunted. You better like leave now."
Yeah,
So it's
he's just like they're right there in the
holy crap.
bushes. Run, like, and he even said it earlier on. It's like, yeah, like they'll hit cheetah speed. The main matriarch one is like testing the fence for defenses. It like killed 2 other raptors to assert its dominance. Like it's like, no, these things are real. Like this is some scary stuff. And like you even saw when they brought the whole cow
yeah.
to feed them, and then the whole thing's gone, and it's just like, oh, there's nothing left. They're just annihilating.
Just
that.
destroys it.
Yeah, and just the harness and everything. So like they did an amazing job of setting up the raptors of being like the ultimate, like, okay, this is the big thing you should be afraid of, because the T-Rex at least was like, hey, stand still and you'll be okay, I guess.
Definitely you're like more like towards the end you're kind of more afraid of the Velociraptor than
the
the
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Even though the T-Rex has its moments, like 2 different moments, or 3 technically, if you count when they're running away from the Gallimimus is moving. And it's like, wow, look, and they're just flocking around. And then Tim's like, well, they're flocking this way. They have to run. And they're like, yeah, we gotta go. like Grant remembers, like, oh wait, I studied like the bones of these and seen these. We're like, oh no, but we're in danger.
Yeah.
They're like ostriches. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then jumped over. The one like tripped over itself, and then then the T-Rex came in and ate one of them. It's
But that
just
was
like,
one time we
wow.
saw it in the daytime.
Yeah,
The T-Rex.
the full CG T-Rex in the daytime. Yeah, and it still looks good.
Yeah.
Fun fact, if you guys haven't seen it, and you should pull this up, is they mocapped people from ILM, like, or kind of like recorded people from ILM running kind of like Gallimimuses trying to go over, and so they actually have footage of people jumping over. One person actually fell and tripped over, and he actually broke his drawing arm.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I'm
like
an artist, so
it
you
was a
couldn't- you couldn't
full ass
draw more.
break, and he's an artist. We're like, oops, you have insurance.
Another scene that was actually pretty cool was when they're on top of the tree looking out.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Brontosaur.
Yeah, the Brachiosaurus. Yeah. And Lex gets sneezed on. Tim, God bless you. Yeah, and like Grant's trying to do the sound effect to bring him in. She's like, no, don't do this. It's like, no, it's okay. These are leafy sauruses. These are leafy sauruses. And then that's when you hear like more Tim's terrible puns.
Metasaur.
Yeah, is it a meat-eating metasaurus?
He's like, I don't know what noise.
I know Anthony remembers. I remember. I know that Anthony remembers some of the really bad dinosaur jokes that Tim was trying to give.
What do you call blind dinosaur?
Do you think he's Saurus?
Yeah.
What do you call
blind dinosaur's dog?
Zach? Danny?
I forgot what it was.
Do you think
Saurus Rex?
Oh.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah.
Get the Goldblum laugh.
That and you have just like because Ian got like attacked by the T-Rex, like kind of mauled but still okay. Like his leg was kind of thrashed up and he's just like laying there in all his glory and he's just like they're just trying to figure out a plan and just like, oh, I gotta help get the kids. And that's when they do the whole like radio scene with Ellie Sattler to try to get all that stuff back in place. And that's when we see, Samuel Jackson's character's like arm that just like is stuck, or like Arnold's like his like, it's funny because she's like, I loved it because like it's the whole pivot of just like, hey, Mr. Hammond, I think we're back in business, and then arm, you're like, oh my god, and then
like nope.
Well, no, because the raptor like jump scare.
Oh yeah, the raptor jump
and
scare,
then she like hits the wall, and then the arm.
and then she's like, oh my god, Mr. Arnold, and then just like, nope,
just the arm.
Just the arm.
Mr. Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold. Just arm. That was great. Good job. Thank you for that.
But yeah, pretty much every
Chaos Theory.
Every scene with the music playing is like the best scene because
which one?
All the scenes. I mean, yeah, the beginning, the main when they first see the first side of the dinosaurs. And then they finally play the main theme.
Oh man, yeah.
Like, well, it's all part of the same theme, just different parts.
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah.
It's like
it's crazy. 2 themes in one.
The first part is like as they're landing, and then when they're driving over there, and then it's that moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where it's like more like the violins. Then you have the trumpet part that plays.
Yeah, I don't think I can ever get tired of that song.
No,
every
that
time we go to Islands of Adventure and we're in the Jurassic Park area, they're always playing the music. So it's like I could just be here for like the whole entire day.
And you just stand there and just bask in the glory of that music. It's that good. This movie, like, it has everything. Like, it has awe, wonder, shock, scary, comedy, wit, a central message. I love Alan Grant's line at the very end. He's like, after careful consideration, Mr. Hammond, I've decided not to endorse your park. And he looks and he's like, so have I. just
defeated.
Like, just so have I. Like, just damn. Like, it's just like, it's a great idea, but nope. It's pretty bad. I know we've run through some amazing stuff, but Anthony, any other like little, favorite moments, little things you may want to sprinkle in before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I think we mentioned it a little bit, but the T-Rex part, that's like, I think that
the water in the cup, dude. Oh my god!
Yeah, the marketing for this movie was very clever. Because I remember it, even though I was young, I was 6. The marketing, like all the teaser trailers, was just the scene of like the kids in Gennaro in a car showing the water ripples with the vibration of the footstep of the T-Rex.
Is that thunder?
And then it would show like 3, like you would hear 3 footsteps, and so you would just constantly see the water rippling, and then that'd be like the end of the teaser trailer, and just like Jurassic Park. So it's like that moment of like the water in the cup was just like very synonymous with this movie. And then later in other trailers, it would be like it would be like a CGI footprint of the T-Rex in like the dirt, and then you see like the water in the dirt of the footprint ripple with the footsteps. So it's like they use that a lot for the marketing. So yeah, very iconic scene and moment that they use, I think, in some of the other sequels. But yeah, that whole scene, along with like the first scene.
Oh man, the flare and everything.
Yeah. It's just like it's honestly it's like the middle of the movie, and it's like maybe like a 20-minute sequence of like nonstop like insanity. And yeah, I was 6 when I saw this movie. I went with my family to go watch it when we were visiting some of my other relatives in El Salvador. We went to the small movie theater. I think we were like close to the front row, maybe the second row. And so yeah, I was this little kid watching this movie in like, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but this is ridiculous. I'm like, this is amazing. So like, I know a lot of people, you know, close to my age or probably older, they're like, one of their favorite movies is probably Star Wars, or it's like Star Wars is one of those movies that like, you know, is the thing that changed movies for them because of just how innovative it was and how crazy it was back in the day. So for me, I usually tell people that like Jurassic Park is like my Star Wars, because I think I saw Star Wars a little bit later, maybe when it ran on TV, because I didn't see Star Wars in theaters until Phantom Menace came out in '99. But yeah, so when I saw this movie, like the amazement I got from this movie was like, I guess how I assume how other people feel when they watch Star Wars, where I was just like, to me, it was real to me. Like it looked real. I was 6. I'm like, this is insane. These dinosaurs look real, and it was scary, but it was fun and it was exciting. And so, and especially that scene with the T-Rex, it was insane. I couldn't, like, seeing the head of the T-Rex go into the van and then like it smacking the car and all that. Biting the tire because it was so mad at that one tire. I don't know if you remember that part.
Yeah.
When it flips the car over, and then it just bites the crap out of that one tire.
That one tire is like, I'm gonna kill it. Yeah, and then it's like, wait, this tastes like crap.
It's the rubber origin story.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love the part where it's attacking the Jeep, and then when Grant finally gets out of the car with the flare and goes, "Hey!" The T-Rex straight up just goes, "What?" Like, I mean, it roars at him, but like the response is hilarious.
And then Ian gets his out too, starts waving, goes, "Ian, freeze!"
Yeah, and then he does not let go of the flare. Like
he doesn't let go, nor does he freeze. He's
Yeah,
like,
he keeps running.
He's just like, "Get the kids, go get the kids," and that like
Because
launches.
Grant had it.
Yeah.
He was gonna like the T-Rex was gonna go after the flare.
Yeah, they're all women, by the way.
Yeah.
All the How do they know? Do they have someone looking up the dinosaur skirts? I love that line.
He's so good. But yeah, I mean, and then like I don't remember how many movies before this that I've seen, like because this movie's pretty violent especially for like a 6-year-old.
Isn't it PG?
And then it's
also?
PG-13.
Oh, it's PG-13.
But
Okay,
like,
I always thought it was PG.
but then like after the T-Rex smacks Malcolm into the hut with the bathroom
hut.
everything falls down. It's comical, but like also violent at the same time. And
Yeah,
the
'cause
T-Rex,
Gennaro's right there,
and
like,
then
oh
the T-Rex
my
just
God.
straight up eats this guy, and then like
kind of looks at him like
swings away with him in his mouth. Like
The
so
legs
to me, like
flailing. You're like,
I saw that, I'm like, oh man, why
that
am I?
guy's dead.
I think I kept like looking at my parents to see if I was like allowed to watch this, but no, this movie was amazing. It's one of my favorite movies. That's why I recommend it. I always recommend it to anybody. I always tell people to rewatch it because it's too good. We were just talking about The Flash recently and how bad the CGI was. I watched this movie. Still, this movie looks, I don't know, 100 times better than The Flash did.
Even with all the remasters, the retouches up, the upscaling into like 4K now where we're at, and it still holds up. It's a 30-year-old movie and it still holds
it's
up.
insane. The camera angle from when the T-Rex first gets out of its pen and then like walks across
like behind
Alan Grant's
It
Jeep.
lumbers over and it's just
that
way
walk
up.
across scene, like to me when I see that, it looks real. Even though that is a CGI shot, it looks real to me. I'm like, this movie's insane.
That's a combination of everything, like of everything from sound production, the way the scene is established and shot. On top
We
of
haven't
it.
even talked about that. The sound effects of how all the dinosaurs sound like it's all made up. And Spielberg, I think, is the voice of most of the dinosaurs. They mixed a lot of animal voices, and he would also go into like a machine, go like and like make some weird noises, and they would mix it with like whales or dolphins to get those
lions and
like for the
stuff.
raptors, they would get those high pitched squeals and screeches by just mixing a bunch of different animals together. But yeah, just like everything in this movie. I think this movie to me,
Skywalker sound.
yeah, to me this is like one of the most perfect movies. I know there's some stuff in it is a little off. Like
What?
I realized it later when I was older. So the T-Rex, where it is,
Yes. It really, I knew you were
how
gonna say
does
this one, Mike.
how does the car flip over and then go
and then
that
go
far
down a ravine?
And, it's like the T-Rex is nowhere near that tall.
Like
True.
that, or the T-Rex is like right next to a cliff.
Yeah.
And then like the car got pushed a couple
True.
like 20, 30 feet and then went down a cliff.
Because when they show
That's a continuity thing, but boy, does it look great.
Yeah, that's the only thing I realized. I'm like, but I don't care because this movie is amazing.
That was something that I noticed like a few watches ago, probably a few years ago, where I kept questioning why that drop off was so much.
Yeah, it's like the T-Rex came from there, but how?
Because early in the movie you see like the goat
Yeah.
coming up from the ground,
Mhm.
and it's like at level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get the Jeep being pushed over the edge, and it's like, okay, now it's like a 50-foot drop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Or was it just a different part?
Maybe
like
it's
you were
a
saying.
further part or something.
Yeah,
like
like just a different part of the area. But they never really.
And I think another continuity thing later when they're near the end of the movie when they're running away from like the one raptor that didn't get stuck in the freezer.
Yeah.
After Alexis, is that her name?
Lex.
Lex, yeah. After she does her whole hacking thing,
Yeah.
and then trying to run away from that one because even though they locked the door, the raptor's like, I don't care, and he just jumps through the.
He's just like, here's a glass.
Yeah, he
And
jumps
then,
through the glass
Yeah, I have to
and-
start shooting through
Yeah,
it.
and so when they're up in like the roof trying to get away from it, and then like it pops its head into like, and then like right when Lex is on top of
Yeah.
it, and then
That's
like,
like
and then Grant
10 feet up.
Yeah, Grant kicks in the face, and then the camera angle goes down, and it's a CGI shot, and the raptor falls down while Lex is like hanging. It's like, well, how is it just? It's not just standing and like peeking its head.
Yeah, like,
it
and
would have
it's-
had to
it's
jump
claws and,
to
like,
get up there, but like
and hold
it
on
didn't
up
do
there.
that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the head could have just been like,
I never
"Hey,
noticed
what's
that
up?"
I
But
always
it doesn't
assumed
matter. Like I said,
maybe-
it happens so quick that you don't even realize it, and you don't care
Yeah,
because
like-
what's going on is so exciting. And so
I always assumed that maybe it was on top of a table or on top of something.
no, I don't know.
But even then, like when you look at like any shot, from
maybe
within
there's a
that room,
table.
it's a,
but
Yeah.
I don't
it's a
recall
high
a table.
ceiling.
Yeah,
It's not like a low ceiling.
and
It's
then
like maybe 6 or 7
the T-Rex
feet.
becoming like the hero at the end of the movie, like killing the two raptors that were about to kill the main characters, and
And then how it didn't then go after them.
And then like the
Characters.
iconic
The banner.
sign like
Yeah.
falling. in
Yeah,
front of the
it's just
two-
like-
When dinosaurs
Ruled the earth
when,
at
when
the very
it
end.
does the iconic,
Such a cool shot.
iconic roar. I was like, oh
Yeah.
that's right there, movie magic right there. That's here. That's like that should be the poster because it's like the CGI of the T-Rex.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, man, this movie's
Yeah.
too good.
So apparently,
Too good.
so apparently, I did look this up right now while you guys were discussing the scene and the final scene at the end with the bones around in the main like atrium of the visitor center. That apparently, like you can there's a in that scene if you play it slow motion, like the raptor is trying to do stuff with its claws,
Mhm.
like just for a split second, like it's letting go of the claws. That's how it got up there and like hung on for a bit. Because it was the kick apparently that kicks him out. But like at the same time, then you start really thinking is like, wait a minute, like how heavy? Like that's what like the heaviness and the strength of its arms, or the ceiling strut of how heavy. If he can hold on to a raptor's thing, that's when you start going, okay, I'm thinking too much into it.
And that moment too, when the raptor like notices that they're above it, and it's kind of like looking at I think it's kind of like not like a fence, but like a fence-like structure, but it's reflecting off the actual animatronic head. So it's like it would probably be very difficult to get that cool reflection on like a CGI head, but just because it's like you have an actual physical raptor head looking at whatever it needed to look at in that scene.
Is that the
Just-
projector that was stuck on his face?
No, it's not a projector. It's
No.
just like the shadows of like the fence that was in front of it. It just looked really cool on the face of the raptor.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, man, doing kind of like how people say with Star Wars, like you don't have to go full CGI. Doing, part practical and mixing it with CGI, like you can tell, like it just feels a little better. Like it feels like somewhat real, but you can tell that it's also somewhat fake. But
no
when
doubt.
it's usually when they do the full CG, you're kind of like, unless it's like an excellent CG, like you can tell it's it's fake and it's all CG. Which like all the dinosaurs now and all of the future sequels is just completely CG. I'm sure they use some animatronics, but they probably don't use anywhere near as much as they did in the first movie.
No,
because they don't need to.
No, they don't. Yeah, the animation can hold up now, but even so, like, there's always something that's kind of missing of like that practical, like.
If the newer films had more practical stuff, I think they would be appreciated a little bit more.
I mean, usually the reason why they don't use it is because either time or money. Because it takes more time to build those things. But you can't really, at least for this movie, like say the excuse of money. It's like this movie it costed what, $63 million?
Yeah.
And because was the sequel came out.
Was
in
that the budget or how much it made?
The budget was 63
Yeah, that's insane. I think Dominion, the newest one, Jurassic World Dominion, was probably like $250 million budget, which is insane.
That's nuts.
A much inferior movie. I was very disappointed by that movie because I really
agree.
enjoy Jurassic
Even
Park.
though there are direct callbacks and like
Yeah,
references to this original first movie.
Yeah.
Freaking Dodson.
It was the bad guy. And when they
with weird ass motivations.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna just go straight to casual murder now.
When
like,
they
holy
reveal
crap.
that in the movie, I was just like, I was like shaking my hands, like really, like this is.
Didn't they have the same can?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yes, and it's like I never seen the can.
It's like,
wait,
just
how'd
in
they
case
find
you
it?
forgot, this is the can.
That's the
it's like-
guy.
which makes no sense because that means he would have had to found it under a bunch of mud because it fell from this guy's
Maybe the mud cleared up and
pocket or whatever.
and dried out or whatever. Yeah,
I mean, it must have
no.
because he still has control of making the dinosaur. So
Yeah, apparently, but apparently the answer to it is in that Camp Cretaceous animated show. So there's that. Go watch Camp Cretaceous to figure out where the can came out. Oh man, that's actually pretty damn hilarious. But
easily the best one out of the the 6 to have come out.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Easily.
I think
Easily.
so.
Man. But I think it's kind of tying it all in together. You're getting into the credits, and you have the the birds and the pterosaurs leaving or whatever. Like
I always forget it's the third movie that has the
pterodactyls.
pterosaurs.
Yeah, this movie just has
this one just has
pelicans.
the pelicans.
But it's like he's staring at the pelicans like
birds.
this is like what they became. He's like,
Yeah.
but we just dealt with like
We
your
just dealt with
ancestors.
the real thing. Yeah, we just dealt with the real thing. And we have the nice somber, closing credits music and hit the credits roll. Movie's so good. Too good. And like at the same time you always have Hammond looking at the little piece of amber mosquito that's on his cane. And he just keeps
That was a
looking
cool
at it.
touch.
Yeah, it's always there as a reminder of everything else. But like this is one of those movies where like
He's a digger.
I can't rate it because it's just too good. Like it's a seminal classic. Like it's just like I'm not gonna give it like a score like 4 out of 5 dinosaur bones. Like no, it's like like
I give
5 out of 5
10
dino
roars.
arrows.
10 roars. I don't know.
I don't know.
9 out of 10 Velociraptor claws.
There you go.
Because we spare no expense. We're trying to come up with these names. No, I can't. Like it's just the movie's it's just too good to me. It's a classic. Like I can't like just objectify it with a rating. Like I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, there's a reason why people still talk about it, people still watch it, and why they're still making sequels, even though
Hopefully they
people supposedly don't like the sequels.
They
These
all made
movies
$1 billion.
make like $1
Still
billion.
make a buttload of money
They make a
still.
lot
I
of
mean,
money.
I thought the first Jurassic World was I think the second best in the entire series.
Because they were just remaking the first movie.
Yeah.
It was like
but
almost
with
a
in this case an actual park that was open to the
yeah,
public.
that was a cool aspect.
It was meant to be, I guess, like the actual
It
realized
was like the Disney World.
vision
Yep.
of Hammond from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
The park is finally open.
It's like InGen's gone, but we still kept the tech to keep it going because just like how life finds a way, so do people who really want to make money. They'll find a way.
But I'm surprised that there hasn't been another like big dinosaur franchise.
How do you top Jurassic
Well, we have
Park?
60
You don't have to
65.
top Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Just make another movie with dinosaurs in it.
65, like Danny just said.
Did
With
people watch
Adam
that?
Driver.
Is that on Netflix yet?
There's also Disney's Dinosaur, Land Before Time.
Yeah, but that came out.
We're
before.
Back, a dinosaur story, but that's only one movie.
The Good Dinosaur.
That is a movie.
It is a movie.
I mean, like a live action one with.
Live action, yeah, that's
They need to make like a Dino Riders movie or something like that.
What? How about Cadillacs and dinosaurs?
That too. If anybody
Dino
wants,
Riders.
yeah.
Is that like the car?
It's an 80s.
No, that's the Fast and Furious Jurassic Park crossover.
Something else.
That's actually a thing called Cadillacs and dinosaurs. Like that was an actual cartoon.
I had a computer game of that.
Yes, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs was a freaking
I remember there being
TV
like
show.
something with cars and dinosaurs.
There were 13 episodes.
So when Vin Diesel said that there's gonna maybe be a trilogy for
Maybe that's
like
it.
Fast 10 trilogy,
Maybe
part
that's
3 is gonna be with
The
Chris
Cretaceous
Pratt.
period.
It's gonna be with Chris Pratt joining him in wrangling up all these dinosaurs in the world with his car.
Blue.
Oh God, no, just no. And they're coming back. No, man. But
Little B meet Blue.
Little B is little Blue, little Alpha
Family.
because the family. Hey, in the end, it was Blue trying to save its daughter, right? That was the 5th movie, right? Was it which one was
No,
it? When-
it was 6.
Was it 6?
It was Dominion.
When Dominion they stole the little baby. Yeah, that's about family. Look at that. That was all about family.
Yep.
And the fact that this guy
Chris Pratt
with
knew
family
Raptor
cloned
language.
his daughter. Oh, spoilers for the 5th one. But you know, yeah, and the daughter like cloned herself and impregnated herself with a clone of herself because science.
The granddaughter, granddaughter is that actor was in the 3rd movie or the 2nd movie of the franchise. I think it's 3rd.
None. She was a nun.
No.
The one that died and then ended up being
him. Like the old like the
James
grandfather.
Cromwell.
yeah, James
Him.
Cromwell's
That's from
character.
the
He was
second
in
Jurassic World movie.
yeah.
But he didn't appear in a previous movie?
No.
I thought he did.
No, he's referenced in the books, but that's a different story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe
It
he
was like
appeared.
Hammond-
He has some connection to Hammond,
He was
right?
because he was the main scientist and the stuff
Yeah.
involved in the science, and then Hammond's like, I'm the guy who made the flea circus. I remember going, he does this flea circus story to
Yeah.
Ellie, and he's talking about he's the promoter. He's the guy that's like who can sell it and make it happen.
Yeah, he did say
He's the
He said that he
ringmaster.
met someone in Scotland, I think is what
Yeah,
he said,
so
right?
he's the one that's kind of put it all in place, and then he talks about how like I wanted to make this place real, like and not just an illusion like the flea circus. The flea circus is just motors and stuff, things moving around, but the kid's like, I can see the fleas moving things. It's not real. And then that's when Ellie's like, oh, that's the whole idea. Control is an illusion. You never had control. And he's like, but then we can try it again. But wasn't him in the end. It was other people for Jurassic World. But, we did get a cool-ass roller coaster out of it. That Velocicoaster is the bomb.
I haven't ridden it yet.
It is the bomb.
'Cause I haven't
Danny, you been on that?
It's Universal.
I have not
6
yet.
And
years.
the actual water
Seven.
ride, the Jurassic
water
Park
one,
water,
yeah.
at night. It's pretty creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
Oh,
creepy.
that,
Yeah, I ain't doing that at night.
I've never ridden it at night.
I want to go to the one in Hollywood
Okay.
because,
Yeah, they updated that one.
Yeah, they updated
It's
that one.
Jurassic World.
yeah, it's like 6 years ago or something they updated. It looks really cool.
They should probably do that to the one here in Orlando.
Rumors, maybe? I don't know. But with that, like, I don't know. Do you guys want to put a rating on it, or we can all just agree that
I
this is
have a
It's a
rating.
10 for me.
Yeah,
10,
it's
10 out
just-
of 10 Jeff Goldblum laughs. That's
10 for
10 out
me.
of 10. 10 out of 10. Ian Malcolm laughs.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
10 for me as well. So pretty straightforward.
Yeah, 10.
20 out of 10.
Yeah, 65 million out of 10.
There you go.
God,
Just too good of a classic.
it's too good. And whenever they show it like on cable or basic television, it's like, well, sitting down and watching it. Like it's one of those. They're just like, oh, I'm just gonna leave it on. It's great. And it's always at a certain scene where you're like, yeah, why not? Like this is a good scene or this is a cool stuff.
You could pick up from any part of the
And
movie
just continue
and just be
watching
like,
it.
oh, okay.
Like the part where they're at the fancy dinner and they're talking about like strategies of opening, and Gennaro's like, oh, John Hammond's like, oh, I want it to have anybody to come in to visit it. It's like, no, but the lawyer's like, no, it should be for the ultra rich.
It's like, we'll have a coupon day.
Coupon day, or something.
What a douche.
And then it's like, and then that's when Malcolm does this whole like speech tirade of just like, look at you guys talking about all this, and like, there was all the science and none of the discipline that needed to acquire in order to use it. That's that iconic speech. And anyway, yeah, I'm derailing. I'm off the rails here. It's too good. So yes, if you're listening to this and we talk about the key big moments of this movie, you've somehow have not seen it, or people who haven't seen it, like kids who are like 7 or 9 years old or something.
Yeah, if you're a parent, show your 6-year-old this movie.
Yeah, dude, I was 5 when I watched this movie in theaters. It was like in June, July or something, and man, it's a movie theater. Have you been looking into that, Anthony, now, where you remember, man, I watched this movie at this theater, that theater's not there anymore?
I don't know. It was in El Salvador. It's probably not there.
Oh, but you did it. Yeah, yours is in El Salvador. But I remember watching it at a theater there's like an old, like, now it's like a strip, not a strip mall, but it's like a mall that's not really a strip mall, not strip club. It's 5 in a strip club. Yeah, why not? Hey, kid, look at this and only this. We got a bootleg
What's the strip
projector.
club? What's the strip club called? The Bare Bones? Like, what is it?
Oh my gosh. No. But it's a mall that like had an old AMC theater. I also watched randomly the movie Sleepy Hollow there.
Which
but
mall though? Town and Country?
No, it was not Town and Country. It was the Mall of the Americas.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
it's still there.
No, that theater's
The
not
mall's there, but the theater's not there
It's a
anymore.
Costco now.
Yeah, it makes me sad because that's actually pretty cool. And there's also a
I'm
Home
surprised that mall's
Depot.
even still open.
I remember the Home Depot now moved over as a big ass Home Depot across. But you know that there was the old Regal or the old there's an old
Kendall 9.
Kendall 9 that is now a DSW shoes. So yes, our folks down here in Miami, if you remember old movie theaters, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, they destroyed Kendall 9 and then they made it across the street, and that's what the Kendall Village is. They made that in 05?
Ooh, fun.
There used to be an AMC on US 1, like 184th.
Yep,
Now it's a Staples.
that's a Staples. Yep, I remember that one too. Oh,
that was like 10 years ago. I
that
think.
just reminded
That
me.
one was bad.
It was actually really bad.
I might have been there maybe once or twice.
You know what
Because
people
that was
used to call
one
that
of the
one?
closest theaters.
It used to be called South Date 8. People would call it crap Date 8
My
because it
God.
was terrible.
Crap.
But
I never.
It was terrible.
I just never went there.
Because it was bad.
AMC 16. I think it was a 16.
I'm pretty sure it was South Date
No.
8. The one by like Marlin Road or something like that.
Yeah, it's on Eureka and whatever it was. Yeah.
South Date 8.
That's
I think
South
that's what
Date
it's
8.
called.
He's right. It wasn't.
Really?
There were not 16 rooms in
I
that
think they had
theater.
16.
No
they,
way.
They have another mall further down, which is Southland.
That has
But
a
that's
Regal.
Regal, though.
That's Regal, yeah. That's where I would go. All
That
the
one's
time
pretty good.
before.
I've actually been there.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
big.
not bad. The
Been
rest
there
of the
many
mall's
years.
kind of dead, but
I've been there many years, but that's like our tried and true Sunset Place. That the Sunset Place
Might
24.
be going away soon, man.
a true
That theater is holding that whole place strong.
America Multi Cinema. Thank you for being where you are,
And thank you, A-list.
and thank you for Dolby and IMAX.
Could you imagine watching this movie in 40x?
Yes.
It'd be
All
kind
the
of fun.
That would be actually kind of
That would
fun.
Dude, the Dilophosaurus spitting at your face.
You just get water in your face, exactly. Or all the time, like the T-Rex attacking the SUV. It's just everything's rumbling and shaking, and the turbulence in the helicopter as they're going downward.
Whoa.
Oh man, we didn't talk about all the thematic like foreshadowing. How like how all the T-Rexes, sorry, all the dinosaurs are female, and so like they have to genetically engineer them to
Oh,
lay
the
eggs.
seatbelts?
The seatbelt that Alan Grant had 2 female ends, so he had to just tie them in together. So he
Oh,
strapped
yeah.
on.
Whole thing.
That's the whole idea of
Symbolism.
life finding a way,
Yeah.
and they realize, oh wait, frog DNA sometimes switches sexes to be able to reproduce.
Yeah, it
and
was like
life finds a way.
It was like West African
Yeah,
frogs.
some West African frogs are known to change sexes. Yeah, so the little things like that, like it's just the more you watch this, the more you pay attention. You're like, man, this movie's great. Like it's intellectual. The science is very exciting, even though they've kind of sort of disproved it nowadays, but it's still just super exciting.
Velociraptors aren't 7 feet tall.
No, they're a little
They're
smaller.
more-
But for the movie,
have feathers.
They're more feathery. Yeah.
Yeah. But it makes for a great movie, guys. It makes for a great movie. Speaking of hopefully great movies, we're gonna move on to preview of next week. We are going to see. We're gonna go, I believe, into
Mission
Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. So many of these movies are splitting them up to parts 1 and parts 2. I'm kind of not a fan of that, but this series has gotten
Okay, but
better over time.
Harry Potter did it right.
Did it though?
Did it come out a year later?
I think like 7 or 8 months later.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It was in the
Matrix.
same calendar
Like the
year.
Matrix.
Yeah. So like that's cool that but waiting a whole ass year or 2 years for
I
Dead
don't mind
Reckoning 2.
don't
Like
mind
did they film Dead Reckoning 1 and 2 back to back?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we don't even know
It's
what
coming
else
out
they
in a
have.
year. It's coming out in 1 year.
They don't even know what we have up their sleeve, but who knows,
They
man.
did that with Endgame and Infinity War.
Yep.
That's exactly 1 year. Actually, well, it was a year apart.
A
And
little
then
less. They moved it ahead.
They moved it ahead
They're like, dude,
a few weeks before the premiere.
Yeah, it's like we just gotta do
They
it.
supposedly did that with Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is why they have that March date next year.
Yeah.
But there's been rumors
There's
that
a lot of
they're
rumors.
not gonna make that March date
Yeah.
next year. That
someone was
it's not
saying-
done. Like it's
yeah.
nowhere near done.
Especially with all those people that left.
We'll see.
But tying it back in,
To Jurassic Park.
no, but
Oh,
Mission
Mission Impossible. That's right.
for Mission Impossible, that episode will release on the day the movie comes out,
Oh,
Yeah.
which will be our first
Our
Day
first
on day release.
day release.
Wow,
Thank
HBO
you.
Max? Damn.
Yeah, thank
So-
you, early screenings.
We'll be seeing an early screening at AMC. So
Oh, I didn't even realize it was an early screening.
Well,
I
we're
thought
seeing
was,
it on
We're special.
Monday.
We're guys. We're top. We're here now. So we get this early screening. We get to plug the podcast. Those of you listening get to know that. Oh man, these guys saw it early. So
We might even
you know,
see it like twice.
Well, wait until
before
you
we're
watch
recording.
It might be.
Wait until
Yeah.
you watch it. to
Watch
listen
the
to
episode when we,
obviously, because
I mean, we warn you all the
Yeah,
time.
there are people
Yeah.
that don't mind spoilers, but
Yeah.
we'll always
They just love us.
say
Why not?
yeah.
Oh, by the way, this Jurassic Park podcast full of spoilers.
I mean, kind of, yeah. But it's a 30-year-old movie.
just
so,
in case you didn't know.
you know, that's why I told you to have friends invite them to watch the movie if they haven't seen it yet. So this goes up live when we post this up. Definitely, keep the conversation going. Share with us some of your favorite scenes of this movie, your iconic maybe movie theater experience, and maybe your favorite lines as well. We are always up. We're over through our socials on Popcorn Watchlist, where they're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and now on Threads. So give us a follow over there. Danny's controlling the page there and putting up a lot of fun engagement going on. So keep the conversation going. We're really excited to check out a new frontier of social media and community engagement. So give us some stuff to do. And till next episode with Mission Impossible. Thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for next time. Keep that popcorn ready.
Later.
See ya.
Adios.